You can see what I'm talking about. This is everything that was captured. And basically you could see the sand. I am not near a beach. I don't understand how I have sand-like particles in my pool. Now, keeping your pool clean could be a chore, especially when you have a lot of trees like I do. I have 3 large trees on my property line, and I have trees surrounding my property from my neighbors. So you can imagine the amount of leaves and debris that actually comes into my pool. Yet my pool is crystal clear, always. And that's because I have smart robots. I have robots in my house and I have robots in my pool. And today we're going to talk about the AquaSense 2 Pro from Beatbot. This is one of the most advanced robots that we've had on the channel, and it's one that's going to be worry-free when it comes to maintaining your pool in top shape condition when it comes to surface cleaning, underwater cleaning, wall cleaning, anything in between. So let's get right to it. Now, Beatbot is known in the industry as being one of the top pool cleaners that you can get on the market. And it actually shows, based on the technology, the app that we've been experimenting with as we've been cleaning our pool, and just how well it's been keeping things up to date. Now, to give you some background, our pool is a saltwater-based pool, so you're going to notice that there's going to be some spots on my robot. And you'll also notice that this robot isn't like out of the box. It's not pristine. It's not like new, like I just unboxed it. And that's because I like really putting the robot and testing it through our pool. And it's actually taking me a little bit longer to test because our robots have been doing really well when it comes to cleaning the pool. So sometimes I have to keep the pool without any kind of robots in it for a couple days to be able to get some debris in there so I could do the testing I want to do. But this robot, when you take a look at it, and again, we're taking a look at the AquaSense 2 Pro, is one of the top-rated robots that Beatbot has. And what I like about this is not just the fact that it has this tank-like capability when you look at it all around it, because let's face it, this thing has treads, and I'm talking about serious treads. But this is the first robot that we've reviewed on the channel that has side wheels. And at first when I was looking at this, I said, you know, what is this for? And primarily what this is for is to prevent your robot from getting stuck in corners, because this allows the robot to slide naturally as it's getting on the corners of your pool. And I think that that is a fantastic idea. Now, as you look at this robot, yes, it looks futuristic. Yes, it looks like it's a tank that's about to go on some type of mission to another planet. But really, it's about being able to traverse every area of your pool and do that efficiently. And not only doing that, but this robot will take care of the bottom of your pool, it will take care of the walls of your pool, it will take the pool line of your pool, and it will also take care of the surface of your pool. And surface cleaning is something that is overlooked every single time I talk to someone about pool maintenance. Most of them have an underwater pool cleaner, and they complain about how dirty their pool is. I will tell you, if you have a surface cleaning robot, those times where your robot or your pool was actually dirty will decrease significantly. And that results in less impact to your pH balance. It will result in more clarity in your pool. And one of the things that makes this robot, I think, special also is that it has a clarity cartridge that's built into the system that actually helps combat any kind of cloudiness that your pool may experience. Now, keep in mind, my pool is a saltwater-based pool. I have very little to no issues with clarity. What you see in every video that you've seen me do on pools, that's our pool. And that's just because of how well balanced it is and also the technology that we're using. Now, as we take a look at this again, 5-in-1 surface, right? Amazing ability to keep your pool clean. It's using that eco-friendly ClearWater natural clarification cartridge that you're going to see in a couple seconds. And also, you basically have a smart app that's going to allow you to control everything that has to do with the actual robot itself. Now, keep in mind that most, if not all, the robots that we reviewed, including this one, once the robot submerges, your Bluetooth connectivity is going to be impaired, right? So that's one thing to be aware of. So this robot is going to be able to cover 3,875 square feet. It has a 13,400 milliamp hour battery, which means you're going to get a runtime of about 11 hours. I wish 11,000. 11 hours. And it comes with a fantastic warranty. So you're going to be able to get a 3-year floor protection warranty. Now, again, given all of the components that you see here and all the sensors, because there's quite a bit of sensors, this guy, as soon as you put it in the pool and you get one of these, is going to basically scan your pool, understand your pool. It is also going to be able to go up. So if you have a multi-level pool where you have, let's say, almost like a kiddie area, and then you have a deeper area, this guy is going to be able to handle it. So you're not going to have to worry about what it can and cannot do. It also has, I would say, super duper suction and control. We're talking 9 motors and 5,500 gallons per hour. Pretty much with the suction capability that this thing has. Literally, when you put it, it's like turbo mode. You start seeing the robot running and doing its thing, and it seems like it has a lot of power. And not only does it have the ability to pick up the debris, but anything that is around it kind of gets sucked into almost like it has a vortex. The other thing it has is a great filtration system. It's going to be able to pick up twigs, hair, oil, sand, and you heard that right, oil. It will actually be able to capture that. So the filter really is going to capture everything that it needs. Now this robot has a lot of tech, and what we're going to do is first take a look at the bottom, and then we'll work our way to the top. It's actually on right now, and I let it dry a little bit so that you guys would not see it in all its wet glory, which you're going to see in a couple seconds. But want to highlight a couple things. So this is the area that's going to suck up all your debris. You notice that you have these rollers here that are going to roll, and they're soft, right? So they're not going to scratch your pool. You have the wheels as well, are of similar material, a little bit more tougher so that it can climb your walls. You have these 2 contact points, which is absolutely something I love. This robot does not have to get plugged in. It has a docking station, so if you can charge your smartphone by just putting it on a contactless charging pad, you can charge this robot. It's that simple. Now, in the front, you'll notice, and this is one of the things I wanted to highlight, you'll notice here it says ultrasonic AI. You know, we're talking about AI technology to make sure that your pool is clean. We're going to rotate it around, right? And here now you can see the front of the robot. You can see over here like the jets that are going on over here that's going to help with the propulsion of the robot. And then what you'll see is in here is where you would have your clarification cartridge that you'd use. And you'll see that in a couple seconds. I just took that out. Over here you have all the controls. So while this is smart app enabled, and you'll see the app in a couple seconds, you can control these functions by going through each of these. And if you notice, it is on. So you have this little halo light on that will change colors, indicating different modes. Right now it's just ready to go. I just have to put it in the water so that we can see it functioning. But I want to show you what we've cleaned up so far. Now keep in mind, my pool, you know, is, we maintain it regularly. So let me pull this out so you can see what I'm talking about. This is everything that was captured. And basically you could see the sand. I am not near a beach. I don't understand how I have sand-like particles in my pool. Well, I do. It's basically going to be carried by the wind, right? But look at this, how much of this, this is so small, the filtration, how much of this is capturing. Now, this is one of the most mature apps that I've seen on the market when it comes to robotic pool cleaners. And there's a lot of stuff that you could do here, right? So one of the things that you could do is you can determine what type of cleaning your pool is going to go through. So here I have, for example, floor, wall, and water line. I could also do the surface, or I can go into pro mode, or I could create a custom mode, especially if I have a multi-zone area. So I can actually have it change things. Now, my pool is pretty simple. I have some steps, and what I typically do is I just brush off my steps because my steps are very narrow. I don't have large landing areas. So what I'll do is I'll just go with the pro mode, but you can see that you have multiple modes that you can actually go with. Now, all you have to do is pretty much is hit go and the play button, and that's about it. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And it's basically telling me put the robot in the pool. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we placed the robot in the pool, and once we put it in the pool, it's going to detect that it's in the water, and it will start activating all of its functions, and you can see how it just powered up, and you can see how it literally is like a speedboat when it comes to just propelling things and moving around. It will basically kind of situate itself, figure out where it's at, and it will start cleaning. Now you'll notice over here, I do have some debris on the bottom. I have some over there. Unfortunately, guys, I don't have a super dirty pool, and that's a good thing, right? So typically, when we open up our pool for the very first time in the season, you do have a lot of debris on the bottom. We use our pool a lot, so there isn't a situation where the pool is actually unusable. But what I love about these robots is that the robots help maintenance 100%. I do nothing to this pool. Well, let's say the only thing I would do is, let me just pan down right here for a second. So I have this ledge here. What I'll do is I'll just take a brush and I'll just brush this, And then I have some steps over there on the side that I will also brush. And I just do that just to loosen whatever is on that so that it goes to the base. And then this guy will, as he's going around, takes care of that. But also, it will climb this and clean this as well. So you can see how nicely clean that is. So the robot is right now figuring itself out. You notice how it's kind of rotating a little bit. That's actually being done on purpose. It will submerge itself. Remember, it's going to do everything. It's going to do the water line. And the water line, for those of you who may be new to pool terminology, is basically above the jets. When you look at that area right there, when it gets above the jets, that line right there, that could get slimy, right? Actually, all of your oils get deposited on the sides of your pool. So if you have guests come over, you come over and you put your hand there, it could feel real nasty. So you want the robot to do your walls, which is the area on the bottom, but you also want it to get to the water line so that it will remove anything that gets there. Now, something else that is always getting trapped there is hair. So imagine how gross it is if you come into your pool and you have grease and then you have hair. It's just nasty. We don't have that because we have robots like this, and you can see it down there already starting to get going. And it's going to go ahead and start cleaning everything else for us, including that. It's also going to take care of the surface. One of the things that my kids, when they were small, kind of detested was bugs on the water, on top of the water. You'll notice how my pool is very, very clear, both bottom and top. I have no debris, no dead bugs, no floaties, nothing here because my robots take care of the bottom and the top. You're going to start seeing the robot now in action. It's starting to kick off now that it knows where it's at. And you'll see as it makes it over to that debris that we have in the corner, how well it's going to treat that. Now, to give you a sense of how much work I go through maintaining my pool, I use one of these, right? So I put this on a pole. I just once on all of the different steps just to make sure that there's nothing stuck in the grooves, and then I just let the robots do everything else. So let me go ahead and do that while the robots are working. Let's get a little bit closer over here so we can see this guy in action. Now this robot moves pretty fast. You're going to see it navigating my pool area very quickly. And what I love about it also is that it has a very long battery life. You saw, what was it, the last one was like 106 minutes going. That's pretty good. We're going to go ahead and I just sweep the corner of my pool just to make sure I don't have, because I have some short steps. I don't really have long landings. I'm just going to sweep that out. This is as much pool maintenance as I do, just to get stuff there. But you'll notice that the robot is starting to work on the steps, right? And because it has great suction in those rollers, it is going to get everything it needs out of the way. Now, one thing you notice how nicely it's hugging the actual step. Notice how it's going on the curvature of the step. I really, really like that. I haven't seen many robots that do that. They basically work in a zigzag form or in a line, but I love the way it's kind of working its way around that curvature there. Let me make sure that you guys can see that because I just walked away. So basically it was making its way around that curvature right there. And notice how it's now coming back up, cleaning up, and how it's just very purposely making its way through the pool. It's 90 degrees in Chicago. Still beautiful weather for this time of year. We keep our pool open pretty late, sometimes all the way up to November. All right, so you can see the robot is actually making its way to one of our heaviest debris areas, which is not much really, but we have some leaves and some stuff going on there. Let's see how well it does. And you can see that as it's moving there, not even getting close to some of the leaves that are there, they're being attracted to the actual robot, given the suction that the robot pulls. So guys, that wraps up our review. If you have a pool, get yourself a robot. See you in the next video.